Good evening, and welcome to Channel 1 Cyber News. Our story for the evening is on the cyber threat landscape, and joining me to help deliver this information to you is Larry, Shanu, and Tyrell. Larry?
Hello, my name is Larry Daniel, and today we're going to talk about the cyber threat landscape. Cyber threat is global. Today's relatively open and interoperable global digital infrastructure, which connects entities such as organizations, business, governments, and individuals, is being challenged in the form of cyber attacks, ranging from petty malware to the whole existential crisis emanating from advanced persistent threats. Let me explain the cyber threat basic. A theme which currently dominates the global cyber landscape is the focus of cyber threats. Organizations as well as individuals remain stubborn to the idea they could be subject to this type of criminal activity. The truth is, various kinds of cyber threats lurk behind anything using the internet. Victims may lose intellectual property, have their online bank accounts exposed, or inadvertently pass more malware to other machines in their network. At a high level, hackers can retrieve confidential business information and even disrupt a country's critical national infrastructure. A noteworthy fact is the FBI has put cybercrime and terrorism second only to counterterrorism and counterintelligence on its priority list. Now, what are some common attack methods? The first common attack method is Advanced Persistent Threat, APT. An advanced persistent threat is characterized by more sophisticated and concentrated efforts by coordinated attackers focused on a single target. The aim is to infiltrate a sensitive system, remain undetected for as long as possible, and leave few traces of their success. APTs are generally meant to obtain classified and sensitive information and have been used predominantly against technology companies in the US and Europe to obtain valuable intellectual property. No single technology or process will stop an APT, and traditional security methods are proven to be ineffective against these threats. While many organizations are drawn to attack because they have underinvested in security in the past, simply showing up existing and conventional defenses is not enough. New approaches and increased vigilance are required. Protecting against APT requires several layers of defense, knowledge of the threat, and advanced skills to detect and react to ongoing successful attacks.
Alright guys, my name is Shanu. The second common attack is distributed denial of services, or else we call DDoS. DDoS attacks allow hackers to knock off its victims rather than steal information. Although this attack is less technically challenging when compared to others, its effectiveness should not be underestimated. DDoS attacks typically consist of flooding the network with packets of huge amount of data, thus reaching its limit. As a result, legitimate records are lost, or at least the services become too slow to work with. A successful DDoS attack blocks access to an internet domain, but it doesn't impact an organization's internal computer system. If companies follow basic security best practices, their financial payment processing, trading networks, and other core infrastructure won't be sitting wide open on the internet, vulnerable to attack. DDoS tactics are political stunts. The platform most vulnerable to these attacks tend to be symbols of important infrastructure, not the infrastructure itself. A third common attack is cross-platform malware. The malware is no longer exclusive for Windows operating systems only. The economic incentives to build cross-platform malware for cyber criminals rises with the growing number of systems using different operating systems such as iOS. This would inevitably result in an increased number of CPM attacks. The fourth common attack is metamorphic and polymorphic malware. This category of malware keeps changing its code, so each of its succeeding versions is different than the previous one. Metamorphic and polymorphic malware pose the single biggest threat to organizations across the world because it easily evades detection in conventional antivirus programs. It's worth noting polymorphic malware is more difficult to write since it requires complicated techniques like register, renaming, code expansion, code shrinking, and garbage code of insertion. However, that's rarely an issue for larger entities comprising of dedicated and well-supported hackers. Also, more and more businesses rely on open source web applications, which paves the way of acceptability towards metamorphic and polymorphic malware. Q2, for example, is an open platform available for public download that many businesses use to manage their Twitter accounts. Since attackers have easy access to a platform like this, it's much easier to learn all about its default settings and write code accordingly to evade security and contact espionage.
Terrell here. The last common attack is phishing. This vector generally operates via email, and the idea of email is based on the principle of non-exclusive communication, which essentially means it allows anyone to contact anyone else, and vice versa, regardless of who they are. While people would generally expect to be contacted by those who are authorized, most are unlikely to filter out communicants in the first instance of outreach, because doing so would destroy the whole purpose of email. Let's talk a little bit about some measures to protect computer security. Restricting access is one way, and it is used to protect computer systems from access by unauthorized persons. One can use biometric scanning, which are devices such as fingerprint, face recognition, and eye scanners, or you can use passwords, which are secret words or phrases. Another way is encrypting data, which is the process of coding information to make it unreadable except to those who have a special piece of information known as an encryption key. So in summary, the cyber threat landscape is global. Many cyber threats lurk behind anything using the internet. Cyber attacks come in various forms, such as denial of service attacks and internet scams. Some of the principal measures are restricting access and encrypting messages. Be empowered to defend your organization and yourself proactively and effectively. Well, that concludes our presentation. Thank you. Good evening.